AB, I'll kick it off with you, man. What were some of your favorite moments of this 2018-2019 campaign?
Well, I mean, I think it's the one I'm guessing all of us would say, and that's the emergence of Mitch. We were all excited about him. I think we did a preview show, I think, where we talked about what we look forward to the season, and we probably mentioned him as an add-on.
Yes.
But it was about, Knox, what's Frank going to do in his second year, things like that. I don't think anyone, no matter how optimistic you were, thought, okay, this guy by the end of the season is going to show signs that he could be a generational shot blocker. He could legit be that piece that teams like, Golden State or San Antonio get lucky finding in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks actually got lucky finding in the second round. So to me, this whole season, while we have the off-court stuff and the Porzingis trade and clearing the cap space, I think the emergence of Mitch in terms of on-court significance is the biggest thing we'll look back on.
Absolutely, man. Jay Ellis, Mitch finished with 2.5 blocks on average, 161 total blocks, a Knicks rookie record, 29 consecutive games with 2 or more blocks, which is the second longest streak by a rookie in NBA history, 38 consecutive games with 1 block, which is a Knicks rookie record. Yep. I mean, this was Ninja Pete, wasn't it? Finding a steal with the 36th pick of the draft, man. What were your takes on Mitch and some of your highlights of this season?
Yeah, man. Like to piggyback off what JB was talking about, I loved what Mitch did for us this season. The blocks were one thing. We all saw some raw talent in summer league, and I kind of felt like we were missing a defensive presence whatsoever. I felt like he would be on the team, but no one thought that he would have this type of impact.
Yep.
And even when we saw the glimpses of shot blocking, I think the rebounding towards the second half of the season was kind of what made me go, okay, well, we might actually have a legit starting center coming into next season, because, like, I don't know, remember us talking in the season, we was like, all right, our thought was, who do we have to rebound?
Yeah.
We don't have no one to grab rebounds. We was looking at Noah Vonleh like, okay, I see his rebounding stats are good, but is that going to translate on the Knicks? And then he's like, well, we have to have Cantor because he's the only one kind of can rebound. And he was trying to mix and match. With Cantor gone and Vonleh having the ankle thing, is comfort knowing that not only can Mitch block some shots, but he can also rebound. And it just seems like, oh, wow, he can legit be a starting center for us next season, and we'd be fine.
Macri, how about you, man?
I mean, I could talk about Mitch, for a long time. I think the thing with Mitch, and it's related for me to my kind of big plus for this season, is that the Knicks needed to show more than anything this year that they could just competently run an organization. And I think Mitch is one of several examples of, okay, this is a guy that it's so long now, but we forget. A lot of the draft people were saying around the time of the draft, this kid's success is going to be determined in large part based on where he's drafted. And I don't want to call out Sam Vecini, but he was the one that said it, so I kind of have to. On a podcast, he's like, he's the type of guy that if, you see him with a Golden State, he could wind up having maybe a great career, as opposed to the Knicks. And he literally used the Knicks as an example of, you don't want to see him going to that type of organization. And lo and behold, he did come to the Knicks, and not only was he very good, but he got a lot better in significant areas. And I don't think that the development of the young players across the board was perfect this year, and we could get into that. I think by and large, they showed themselves to be like, okay, we want to focus on development. And I think they kind of came out with more pluses than minuses. And just to a larger extent, they got through the whole year like looking okay. Like there were no stupid moves. Like, yes, they traded Porzingis, but if you look around the league and you listen to what people were saying, everybody agreed, like, yeah, you know what? They did pretty good in that deal. you know, and when you're talking really big picture and whether or not people are going to want to come here this summer, I think the fact that they just had a very solid season from a front office perspective, I think that matters a lot.